Yep.
And I'm starting the timer. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, Nicole. My name's Ed Johnson. I'm receiving my degree from Antioch University in counseling. Um, I'm sure you looked over the confidentiality agreement. Did you see one of those in the lobby?
Hmm.
Basically, what that means is anything you tell me is privileged information unless you want me to share it with somebody and you put that in writing, or if like it was a case where you was going to hurt yourself or somebody else, I would have to tell somebody.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, and I signed it, so I'm good to go.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming in. What brings you in to see me today?
Um, well, I think I'm just having a little bit of trouble dealing with some life changes, and just kind of causing me some frustration that I'm trying to just get over. So I'm going through a lot of illnesses, and um, I'm having a hard time like accepting help from people because I want to do everything myself. So instead of me letting someone help me, like I'll just let all my housework pile up. And then when I feel good for that 1 or 2 days, I get overwhelmed because now I have all this stuff I have to do.
So you say you've gone through some recent health problems, and while you were sick, you had some stuff pile up, and then you get to feeling better, and then you're just kind of overwhelmed trying to catch everything up. Is that accurate?
Yes. So, and it's like I have several, like they call them invisible diseases. So on the outside, I look like nothing's wrong with me, but on the inside, it's like I'm in terrible amounts of pain. So I think I see people like outside people don't understand that. So they don't understand why I'm always tired, or even like friends that I don't see often, but just occasional friends. They don't understand when I try to tell them like I have a migraine today, I can't go anywhere, I'm sorry. They think, oh, you just have a headache, just take an aspirin, you'll be fine. It's like, no, that doesn't work.
That sounds very upsetting and frustrating.
Because you don't want to sound like you're being needy and complaining, but then again, it's like you don't want to just kind of be an ass and just not show up for things without an explanation either. Because I can't say I can make plans, but like say there's a wedding coming up. Yeah, I said I was gonna go, but if I'm sick that day, I'm not gonna be able to go. And then people's reactions to that are, oh, you're just being lazy, or you don't want to come out. Oh, this isn't important to you. It's like, well, it is important to me. You're my cousin or whatever. You're getting married, but I don't want to ruin your wedding by me being sick the whole time.
Yeah, it sounds that like you might be a little bit angry over people not understanding your
I
your
think
illnesses.
I think that's part of it, yeah. Because I just you can explain something to people as much as you want, but if they're not living your life or they don't see you daily struggling, um, they just don't get it.
Hmm.
So like, I had to move back home with my parents. My parents are both older than I am and they're in better health than I am, which is really weird to me, but it's and I feel bad with that too because like, they have problems too, but they're a little bit better off than I am, and I get angry that I can't at myself that I can't do more for them because that wasn't the plan. The plan in life was that they took care of me, and when they got older, I was going to take care of them. They never said that, but that was my personal. You just kind of feel, I guess, I don't want to say obligated because they never put it that way, but I'm Latin and Mexican. That's part of your culture. Is you don't put people in nursing homes and stuff. you try to keep them at home, but I'm like, I know at some point I'm not going to be able to do anything for them physically because I might be in a nursing home before them.
So how does it make you feel that that they're taking care of you and you can't take care of them the way you think that you should be able to take care
I
of them?
think it makes me feel guilty, like, because I should be able to do things that I can't. And then when I try to do too much, I get hurt. I end up pulling a muscle or something, or I pinch a nerve, or, I have really bad arthritis. So, like, for instance, we just had my basement has been getting flooded like every time it rains. That's supposed to get fixed, but the people that are fixing it are so busy around here because everybody's flooding, right? So instead, my dad and my mom are down there cleaning it up when I should. The first time I was down there for hours, like mopping, using the shop vac, whatever, and the next day my elbow like flew off like a baseball. It just got I was doing too much, and I'm like, who's gonna do all this stuff? This is supposed to be my responsibility.
You feel that it's your responsibility to do things like that?
Yeah, like it's a guilty feeling that I'm supposed to be doing more than I am. And I'm having a very hard time getting over that and accepting that. I think they've accepted it. Like, my parents they don't try to make me feel bad about it. I mean, they'll ask like, hey, are you able to help us today? And if not, then, do whatever you got to do. I went back to school, so they will not take any rent money from me now because I'm in school. And even that makes me feel bad because I'm working a little bit, and I could pay them something, but they're like, no, you're in school, we're not taking any money. Like, that's what, they're like, we're still here. This is what we can do to help you right now, is give you a safe place to stay and let you finish school so that you can continue working because you do have these health problems. Like, I can't go work a fast food job or something anymore and stand up for 8 hours a day anymore. I have to have something that will provide me with insurance and that will allow me, with whatever physical abilities I can do, which is like, I've been a case manager for 10 years. And I'm able to handle that job pretty well because, I make my own schedule and I can sit down when I need to.
Yeah, I can see why. I can see that's making you feel guilty.
It's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like, if you have how you are in your family, like, but that's just how it is. Sometimes you're kind of, you always grow up thinking like, well, I had good parents and I want to help them. And it's like, well, let's go in the completely opposite direction.
Yeah, it's not uncommon for people to want to take care of their parents after they've taken care of you for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I can see how it would be frustrating if you can't do that in the way that you feel you should be able to do that.
Yeah, so that's one issue. I think the other issue is that, like, I'm not even 40 yet, but I have all these like 70-year-old problems. And like I said, my parents are in their 70s and they're in a better condition than I am. Well, sometimes it fluctuates. Like, it seems like in my house, like, everybody gets their week to be not feeling too well, and the other two take on what that one can't. Because it's me, my mom, and my dad right now. I have a boyfriend. We're engaged and everything, but he can't always be here either. He doesn't live here, so he comes and tries to help. And even with that too, like, I hate having to ask him, hey, everybody's messed up in the house today. You know, we're not feeling good. Do you mind coming over and taking the garbage out? That's a big job, like bigger than it sounds like, because I live on like this 5 acre property and the garbage can is a mile and a half down the road. So to take the garbage out, I have to we have a big can like right outside the house. It's like 4 or 5 bags of garbage. Well, somebody has to get it out of there, put it in the car, and then drive it down, we have like a dirt road driveway. Like it's like over, I don't know, it's almost a mile long. But to get to the main road where they pick up the garbage, somebody that's kind of a job if I'm not feeling so well today. So I have to call him and be like, hey, it's Thursday night. I know you just got out of work, but do you mind? And he doesn't mind. But again, I feel guilty that I have to ask.
So you say you have a dirt road and the main road is about a mile and a half away, and to take the garbage out, you got to put it in a car and drive it down to the road and leave it there. And sometimes you ask your boyfriend to do that, but you feel guilty asking him to come over and do that for you.
Yeah, because it's like, he works too. He's got a life besides me. And then I got to interrupt it for him to come help me do something that's kind of simple, but I just, I can't do it that day.
Yeah, I can see why you feel guilty about that.
It's like, because it's my drive, like it's technically my driveway, but it's like a dirt road, and then my house is right at the end. So the garbage people won't come. The company doesn't want to come down that dirt road. They're afraid they're gonna get stuck or something. So they're like, well, we can put the can out on the main road, and you'll have to just somehow, bring your garbage out. So I'm like, that's what we do. We've been doing that for 5 years. But, in the last 5 years, it wasn't an issue because, like, you just do it when it piles up. Or, you know what I mean? Like, if you leave in the morning for work, whatever, then take one bag and just, throw it in the can when you're out on your way off the property. And now it's like, well, I don't know if I can even pick that bag up. It's so stupid because it's like, how much does the garbage bag really weigh? They're not that big, but sometimes I'm just hurting so bad I can barely move. So I barely make it to work and then home again. And then in the middle of that, I decided to throw a wrench in and go back to school. So I have another responsibility hanging on.
How's that going?
I'm getting through it, but it's not as easy as I thought. I didn't think it was going to be easy either, but I didn't think it was going to be this hard. And when I got into school and signed up, like I knew I had some problems, but they've just gotten steadily worse. Like I knew I had a few health issues, but then as I'm, investigating one health problem, they're like, you actually have 4 or 5. So, and I guess I ignored things for a long time until I just couldn't anymore. Like, people are telling me, I work in a nursing home and I'm a case manager. I have some of the residents there asking me if I'm okay because they see that I can barely walk sometimes. And like they walk better than I do and they're in a nursing home. So I'm like, wow, that must, that opened my eyes to, hey, you really need to check something out. That was my client telling me, we went through this too, and I know you're a little young, but maybe you should go see a rheumatologist or something, which I actually do see anyways. But so I just, I try to work around what's going on. As long as I have to remember, like when I'm sitting down to do homework, that I can only sit for an hour, and no matter what, I have to get up and move a little bit, or I'll get so stiff that I can't move again. So there's a lot of frustration in that too, that again, with school, I'd rather just like I used to just get it done, sit down and do it until it's over, whatever assignment. But I can't do that anymore. So instead of it taking me 2 hours, an assignment will take me maybe 3 or 4. I have to get up so many times and keep fidgeting around, move around, stuff like
So school was harder than you thought it was going to be because of your health problems that kind of jumped up after you started.
that. Yeah. Yep. Um, so like I have really bad migraines, and it'll be like I try to make sure that my work is done either early or if not on time, because I never know when that's about to happen. Like that comes out of nowhere. Sometimes there's a trigger, sometimes it just happens. Like you don't know why. And if I get like a real migraine, I'm talking like they last like 3 or 4 days. And sometimes I have to go get an infusion to get rid of it. Like that's how bad they get. I get infusions for other stuff too, but that's just one of them. So I always feel like I'm in a hurry because I'm always trying to be ahead of myself. So like I'll do a lot of my homework, like I write out by hand. That way I know like if I wrote it at least, I can always get somebody to type it for me. And then I can submit it. So it's technically done. Um, because like sometimes looking at the computer like for a long time, that screen, it just hurts me. It hurts my head and my eyes. So like, a lot of times I print out the assignments and I handwrite, like I said, I handwrite everything. And if worse comes to worse, again, I'll be relying on my boyfriend to just do the typing part for me so that I can, I can take over from there and just actually submit it. So but there's some guilt again because then I have to ask him to interrupt either what we're supposed to do or what he's doing to come help me with this.
It sounds like you've been pushing yourself really hard.
Yeah, I have been. I'm actually considering to quit my job and get just a part-time one. Like maybe that will help take a little bit of strain off. And that's, I talked to my parents about it, and like I said again, they're not charging me rent, so I really don't have any money issues to worry about. If I got some kind of like part-time job, all I really have to worry about is paying my car insurance, and like feeding my dog and stuff, which isn't that much. So I'm thinking about it. I think when probably in about a year and a half, I have interning. So at that point, I probably really will have to be on part time. I'm hoping maybe where I actually work will work with me with that, and I won't have to quit and go somewhere else. But we'll see what happens with that. I guess that's another issue though. Like you said, I am taking on and doing it, overdoing it, and I need to learn how to slow down a little bit. Um, so yeah, I just it helps me that I'm able to talk to somebody that isn't you know in the middle of my life trying to tell me what to do either. So like, and from you, it's kind of like I guess I'm just talking to you to like get the feelings out.
That's
Then
what we're here for.
yeah, so I'm not like in my own head making everything worse, just continually thinking about all these things. It does kind of help to have someone to talk to about it. And in your personal life, like your friends only want to hear about it so much before they're oh, just get over it, oh, it's just a headache. And that makes me mad too, because it's like, if it was, they know me, if it was just a headache, do they think just a headache is going to stop me from doing anything, especially work? I love working. Like work is my favorite thing to do, but it's becoming harder and harder.
You you have a right to get mad when they do that.
And even within the work setting, people are so used to me doing everything. They're used to, oh, this extra thing needs to be done, she'll do it. Or I already did it before they even thought about asking me, or they're used to me staying 4 or 5 hours late because things got to be done and I can do them. I really, really care about all of my clients very much. So staying over isn't a problem. It's just some days, I have to go home on time because I barely made it to that time. And I feel my coworkers are like getting angry with me because I'm not as fast as I used to be, and then I don't take as much on as I used to be. I used to volunteer for everything. I used to actually volunteer at the place I worked at. So, like, if they'd have a field trip or something um, on the weekends, like, they take them around here. We have, like, it's not Major League Baseball, but it's, like, I guess, minor league baseball. So we get free tickets to take, like, 20 residents plus 5 chaperones. So I used to volunteer for that all the time. Or we end up getting some kind of group rate to take some people to the zoo or whatever. And I'm like, I cannot walk around and be out there like that anymore. So I don't volunteer anymore. And they're like, oh, I've heard people like that don't know I'm listening to them say, oh, she's just getting lazy. She's tired of working here. And I'm like, number one, I am not lazy. And number two, I love this job. It's not that I don't want to be here. It's just I need some time off too. I mean, I'm telling you, there was years when I technically never had a day off because on my weekends I'd be over there volunteering and doing activities, going on field trips, whatever special thing we're doing. I'd still be in the building.
You say you've actually overheard coworkers say that you're getting lazy.
Mm-hmm.
How does that make you feel?
That hurts my feelings. Because, like, I try to explain to them, look, I'm not being lazy. I am going through some health things that I'm trying to get a better handle on, but sometimes I'm just not going to be able to do certain things anymore. So, and the other thing too is like my boss even is so used to me finishing everybody else's work. And when I had to start saying no to that, he didn't like that. And my answer is like, okay, well then you need to make them accountable for their own work because mine's done. Well, how come theirs isn't? Oh, but we'll be out of compliance. What if the state shows up? Stuff like, because we have state inspections and stuff like all the time. Somebody is always calling that like 1-800-abuse hotline. It's actually work in Illinois. So it's like there's billboards everywhere. There's commercials everywhere. So, family members of these residents come in and they see like one little thing out of place and right away, they're calling for abuse. And sometimes that may be the case. I don't feel like it 90% of the time it's just they're just trying to get money. And the cases are not substantiated. But, when you're bringing the state in, everything has to be, everything has to be tip-top shape. You can't have things that are not done or done late or done wrong. So they're used to me taking up all the extra, things that people don't get done or they just don't do right or whatever. And I'm like, look, I can't run a whole department by myself anymore. Everybody has to do their own part. I can't be the one that, because this other case manager doesn't like to do his work and all he wants to do is be out flirting with everybody. That's not my problem. He needs to do his own work. And then my boss is like, yeah, but you've always been really good about checking up and finishing things. And I'm like, well, I just can't anymore. My work is done. Everything's right in my section, but I can't pick up for the other 2 people in my office.
So what you're saying is that your employer, you used to do a lot of extra work and then you had health problems, but your employer doesn't understand and still wants you to work and perform at the same level that you
Yeah.
did before you got sick, and it's just not possible, and it's frustrating to you.
It is. It's very frustrating because, like I told them why, I told them what's going on with me, and I said I can do my job, but I can't do everybody else's anymore. And it's like, I don't know, that shouldn't have been happening to begin with. It's not my responsibility, and it shouldn't be, to look after, three up to how we have, I think, 8 case managers altogether. It's not my responsibility to look at. I'm not even a manager. I'm just a case manager there. I'm not in management. I'm not a supervisor. None of that. But I'm the one that has to look after everybody else. Like, you guys are all professionals. You all have college degrees. We're all doing the same job, but yet one has to do more than the other. I don't know why. I just, like I said, I love working. So before it wasn't a problem. But I'm starting to realize that, they put a lot on me that they shouldn't be. And maybe that is leading to some of these problems because I'm overdoing it constantly. So, I mean, I thank you for bringing that up because you're right. I mean, it is, I'm doing too much. Like, I need to learn where I need to step back and when. So I'm actually trying, like I said, at work, is at least I'm trying to do that. Home life is another story, but the one aspect that I don't want to step back on is school, because I want to get this over with, because I know that for my future, I know I need this degree to continue to be able to work, because as you get older, it's like I'm about to be 37, but in reality, my body's like 60. So, and then how much longer after that I'm not going to be able to work at a labor intensive job. It's going to have to be, a sit down job. So I need to make sure that happens, which is what I'm trying to do with getting a higher degree, is ensuring that I have employability in the future.
Yeah, it sounds like being able to work is very important to you.
Mm-hmm. It is. Okay, so we have like 2 minutes left, so if you want to do the closing part.
Let's stop right there. We've touched on a lot of things,
Okay.
and
so it's still recording, but then like I'm gonna take over from here, I guess.
okay.
So this part of the video now, Ed is done being the counselor, and I am going to be the counselor now. So I'm just gonna open it up like I would with any normal client. So, hi Ed, I'm glad you came to see me today. So some of the things that we've gone over so far is we've gone over what confidentiality is, and I've asked you to read that over and sign it, so you understand that anything that you say in here between me and you is kept between me and you, unless I feel like you're in danger of harming yourself or another person. And I see that you've signed it, so you agree with that?
Oh yeah, I understand.
So what I do need to tell you, though, again, I think we talked about this, but I'm going to remind again, I am in training still. So I go to the University of Antioch University in the counseling program. So I'm a counselor in training. So that's part of the, just giving you my background information. I've also been a case manager for over 10 years. So I have a little bit of experience that I'm still learning. So I appreciate you willing to take a gamble and let me help you. Oh, hold on, my dog just walked in. No, So, what has brought you to see me today?
It's just several things, and I think if like somebody sees a counselor and they can um, better understand the feelings that they're having, because sometimes I can't even quite understand what I'm feeling.
I
I
see.
got something that's been on my mind all week. It's an incident that happened at work. I'm having a conflict with a guy. I mean, I'm a pretty easygoing guy. Most people like me, and if somebody doesn't like me, it kind of bothers me.
Hmm. So,
I work in a factory that makes signs, and the signs, I mean, like highway signs,
hmm.
either like Interstate 71 or Interstate 70, or welcome to Chicago, or a stop sign or a yield sign or whatnot. My job in that is to make the signs. They got to put paint onto a screen and press it onto a sheet of metal.
Hmm.
Well, I work with the screens. I make the screens for that. And I also clean the screens that we reuse. Some of them we reuse, and some of them I just strip out and I use the blank to make it again.
Yeah.
Um, I'm in like a back corner of the building that faces the west, and there's a there's like a big garage door right by my work area. It's just me and one other guy. I got a guy under me. I'm uh, I'm not quite a manager, but I'm what they call a lead.
Okay. I understand
Kind of like, I don't know, crew chief of McDonald's or something.
that. Hmm.
But all right, there's this big garage door, and I came in the other morning, and the garage door was open, and it was 47 degrees outside, and where me and my guy work, there's fans blowing, we're getting wet all the time. It's cold, so I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm gonna shut this door for an hour till it warms up.
Hmm.
I did, and then a manager from another department came over and says, "Hey man, you need to leave this door open because if you get cold, you can put on a jacket or something. But we're hot out there in the middle." And I looked over there, and his guy's like wearing a jacket or something. And I was like, "Dude, man, it's 47 degrees outside. Can you like wait an hour or so?" And he says, "No, this door's got to be open. If you have a problem with it, you can take it up with Andrew." And I'm like, "Take it up with who?" He's like, "Excuse me," like he was wanting to fight or something. And I'm like,
Yeah. So,
and he said, "Andrew, all right." So Andrew's the plant manager. So I go to look for him. So I don't want to work in like 47 degrees.
yeah,
And
I mean, that's a little bit, and like you said, if it's open and everything's blowing around, you're getting wet.
yeah, it's blowing right in on me.
It's probably making your job a lot harder to do, being that you're freezing and wet.
Yeah, at least for the first hour anyway.
So that sounds frustrating to me that you're trying to solve a very simple problem and then right away someone has something to say about it.
Yeah, and I don't like people inputting on my authority, even though I only got one guy. I mean, it's my department back there. I'm responsible for it.
So
But
that also, if you're, like you said, you're responsible. So if something happens, like all the stuff gets wet, you're the one that's going to be in trouble.
yeah, I mean, if it's messed up, yeah. But anyway, my manager came back and
Hmm.
I told him what happened. And he's like, "Oh, to hell with that asshole." And he opens up the door, right? Well, then this guy comes charging back over and he's like yelling.
Hmm.
And then my manager said, "Hey, these guys are cold back here." And then this guy starts cussing up a storm, just like cussing him out. Like, them MFers, they don't do a damn thing all day anyway, except ride around on the golf cart. Just going on. And like we're standing there flabbergasted. And so, all right, you big baby, here you go. And I opened up the garage door, and he still kept running his mouth.
I see. So has that made you a little bit angry that you've even had to deal with that?
That's the problem. I'm a little older now. I'm like 51.
Hmm.
If I was in my 20s, I probably would have been ready to fight.
I see. So now you have to deal with that anger in a little bit of a different way.
I'm like more mature now. I'm just thinking, well, this guy's making himself look like an ass. It's got
Mhm.
nothing to do with me. And I ain't got to fight him. I ain't got to prove nothing to nobody. But I don't know. It kind of bothers me that I can't get angry. It's going to sound weird that I can't get angry like I used to get angry. It's like that's been taken from me.
Like you're
And
in your.
sometimes you need to get mad,
Hmm.
and it's like I can't anymore. I don't know why. Maybe it's because my son's handicapped, and I when he was first born and was first diagnosed, I had a lot of anger about that.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I guess it's a good thing that I mean I don't fly off the handle or anything, but at the same time, I'm a
So
little concerned I'm getting too
you're a
old.
little frustrated that you're not having the response that you feel you should have.
I'd say it's more like confused.
Confused. Okay. So when you do have like conflicts, um, how do you actually deal with them?
Well, uh, the guy that I have working for me now is pretty good. But I've had some guys back there before that would do something wrong, and I would tell them what they're doing wrong,
Hmm.
and just correct them that way without yelling or belittling them or saying they're doing a bad job. I'm like, hey, this is not correct. This is the correct way to do it.
Hmm.
And if they kept doing it, I would just point it out again until they got it right. I mean, that seems the best way to handle a conflict. It's
Yeah,
just
without, like you say, without putting emotions or anger behind it, is to, like you said, in your maturity, you know how to handle a situation.
yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, yeah.
But you're still, so you feel like though when at times when you need to get angry, you're just not. So maybe.
I don't know. Maybe it's a macho kind of deal.
Hmm.
Where I just want to get angry and fly off the handle and just cuss somebody out because I'm such an easygoing guy. People would freak out, and there was part of me that would like kind of laugh at watching people freak out.
I see. So yeah, I mean, work related in that I totally understand what you're saying though about work. People need to be understanding that there's two people standing right by this open door, and it's everybody's got to work together. So I mean, um, I don't think I feel your frustration on that. That why did he even start a problem? Like it's not a problem.
Right? It was just that morning.
Uh huh.
Because every other morning it was like in the mid to upper 60s, and so I mean that's fine. I can have the door open then,
Hmm.
but not when it's 47 degrees.
No, I understand that it's too cold for that.
And my guy, I was arguing more for my guy too because he didn't bring a jacket. He was wearing
Mhm.
shorts.
I see. So yeah, that's a problem. Um, so in other areas of your life, though, how do you handle, like you say again, you feel like you should get angry, but you don't. Like, can you tell me about another instance or area in your life how you feel that way?
Um, I'm in school now too. I'm trying to get a master's degree,
Hmm.
and there have been instances where I felt the professor didn't give clear instructions, and part of me thinks I should get angry about that, but it's more like frustration.
Hmm.
and trying to understand what they want so I can give them what they want.
I understand that. So you feel like in some of your classes, they're not giving a full description. They're kind of just they're giving you a basic guideline, but you would like more direction.
It's like some very vague
Okay.
instructions.
I can
Like,
understand how that's hard to work with. Yeah, that would be frustrating, like you said, because
right.
you're
Like
just trying to do the right thing.
this weekend, I had to write a paper, and I didn't know how long it was supposed to be because it wasn't in the instructions.
Hmm.
And I emailed the professor, and they said, "Well, just until you cover all the material. I mean,
I see.
there's no required length." And I was worried that it's going to be too short or something like that
Hmm.
because it was the first one. It'll get better after she grades one, and I understand what they're looking for. But
Yeah, so you just started a new semester?
a couple weeks. But yeah,
Okay. I can, I see what you're saying though. When you get like a vague instruction, um, it kind of presents, I feel a little bit of worry is what I hear from you. That you're worrying that you're not going to exactly do what you're supposed to.
that's very good
And
because
you very much want
I
to.
wouldn't have thought of worry. But yeah, that's exactly right. It
Because
does worry me.
you want to do what, you want to do the assignment correctly and get the grade you're supposed to get.
Right, because I mean, I feel that I'm a good student. I do my work to the best of my ability. I'm intelligent, and uh, there's no reason I wouldn't get a good grade or shouldn't.
Hmm. I see. So, and then, like you said, you have emailed your professor, and do you feel like when you emailed her, were you holding back from saying something, or did you just kind of say exactly what you thought you needed to say?
I always hold back.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with my son, who's who has autism,
Hmm.
and so I mean, you got to have a lot of patience with someone that has autism because I mean, they can't help it. They don't understand like that what you're saying, and so you can't really get mad and like start screaming. You just kind of have to be calm and
It sounds like you've learned, like you're describing that you've learned over time that in dealing with your son's condition, that you've learned how to be more patient, and that's kind of flowed over to other areas of your life.
I think that's it. Yeah, be
And
patient.
that's a good thing to learn how.
I suppose it is. But I'm worried about what if there's a time where I really need to get angry and I don't.
What kind of time would that be?
I don't know. I mean, like, what if like someone's insulting and threatening my family or something?
Hmm. So I hear again some worry from you that, like you said, if somebody is threatening your family, would you react fast enough, or um, what would you do about that? I feel like.
Well, I would like to, if someone was threatening my family, to fight for them.
Mhm. And do you feel that you can't anymore? Like you kind of brought up that your age a little bit ago. Do you feel like as you're aging, you're less able to be physical?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty strong, and I mean, I'm still pretty tough. It hurts to move a little, you know, but um, uh, but I'm just, I mean, I don't know. It's like I'm just
Hmm.
more reasonable now. And I suppose that's a good thing, but is it really?
I hear some confusion and some worry, and that is,
Yeah.
you know, and I would say that, as you're, aging, and I think for anybody, as you age and mature, you do learn to have more patience.
Mm-hmm.
However, like you said, are there times when you need to not have so much patience and you need to get angry and do something about it whenever it's happening? I mean, the last time.
Right, like with that guy at work, there's people that told me that I should have, yelled right back out at him and gotten his face and this and that. And I'm like, well, maybe, But I mean, would that have done anything?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it better for me to just act mature about it and then him acting like an ass and everyone seeing him act like an ass? Maybe that was better too. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. So you're kind of caught in the middle of what should my response have been? Like asking yourself that question.
I would call it like self doubt.
Okay. Self-doubt, yeah, because you're not sure that you did the right thing.
Yeah.
I would say, in my opinion, though, using, like you said, having patience and maturity, and not getting angry and making yourself look just like he did was probably a better thing. And
Maybe I just missed being young.
I see. Well, yeah, like you said, if you were still in your 20s,
Yeah.
that you'd be a little bit of a formidable force to deal with.
I kind of missed that guy a little bit.
I feel like you still are that guy, but I understand what you're saying. Like you're getting old. How old are you again? I'm sorry.
51.
51. You're still young.
Oh yeah, like listen, there was some guys at work, like in their late 30s, early 40s, and they was talking about working out
Mm-hmm.
and lifting weights. And I said, yeah, I'd go lift weights with you, but I don't have time. I said, I could do about 275.
Wow.
I was 18. I'd say now I could probably get about 200.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, you old man, you can't lift no 200 pounds. I'm like, excuse me? Yeah. And I said, you can't do 200 pounds. I mean, that's like the first thing to go. So you don't know it, but you're old now. I was like, man, I can lift 200 pounds easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I'll bet you $20. I said, I really don't have time for that. But then after work, I went to where they was working out,
Mm-hmm.
and I reached my wallet and I pulled $20 out and I laid it down on the table and I said, let's see your money.
Oh.
And he didn't pull his money out. He was just
So he was afraid to actually find out, huh?
Yeah, he was just talking smack. But I said, all right, load that up with 200 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
He put like 160 on it. And I said, no, load it up with 200 pounds. And he put like 180 on it. And I said, I told you I wanted 200 pounds. He said, I'm not going to put 200 pounds on there because I'm afraid you're going to hurt yourself. And I said, okay. And I laid down on that bench and went like this.
Mm-hmm. With no problem.
Yeah. And I said, can I do 200 pounds now? And they're like, oh, no. Like, how much can you bench press? And he was like, 165. I said, well, I'll tell you what, you guys work out every day. I don't, but you keep working hard and maybe in a couple months you'll catch up to me. And I walked out.
And did you walk out smiling and laughing?
Yeah.
Okay. So in that situation, that seems, I think you handled that great. You know, you actually showed up, which they probably weren't expecting, and you did more than they thought. You know, you probably feel kind of accomplished with that you showed them. You know, I'm still young too.
Yeah, and I am, at least, and here I am. Well, maybe just older me is still stronger than a lot of younger people out there today. Because I mean, young me was pretty strong.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I think the fact too is that you still work, from what you're describing, a pretty physical job, which is, you know, that build working an 8 to 9 hour job or longer, doing overtime, those kind of things build a lot of strength. My father was actually a production welder or like a
Yeah,
maintenance welder, for Unilever, and I mean that even now, like he can, you know, he's got all these health problems, but like he can do more than I can, and I'm 30 years younger. So it does. I get what you're saying though. Even though you're older, you're still strong. You're still viable, and people need to respect that more.
yeah,
Do
absolutely.
you feel maybe that they're kind of looking at your age and maybe some gray hair and making judgments that are just not
Oh,
true?
they were until after I lifted that weight, and then I'm sure they was telling their buddies. I said, "Hey, man, don't mess with that old man. He's pretty strong."
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
But
yeah,
I mean, that's, again, I think that was a good way to handle that. Is actually showing them without arguing, without fighting, no emotional anything, and just you showed up and you showed them who you are,
yeah.
and that it sounds like that made you feel really good that you were able to do that.
But I tell you what, though, I mean, after you hit about 50, it's like rigor mortis sets in. And I didn't know that set in while you're still alive,
Mhm.
but it's like you're stiff when you lay down, and like when you wake up, you just kind of open your eyes, and then you got to kind of slowly move your bones to get some like blood flowing through
Mhm.
them. And then you stand up, and you just got these aches and pains, and you're like, oh,
And then
oh, I gotta go into work and do that again.
yeah, you have to get up and still keep going. So how does that make you feel though when you get up and you just can't jump out of bed anymore?
Oh, I don't like being sore. I told my wife last night, I said, I'm tired of being sore and old. I want to be young and strong again. She said, well, I'm sorry, but that's not going to happen in this lifetime.
Mhm.
But you know what? I still get up and go to work anyway.
Yeah.
There's a lot of younger people that don't.
I think there's a lot of young people that can't even do what you do. They just can't. They don't
Yeah,
have it in them.
I suppose that's true.
And it sounds to me like you have a very good work ethic and that you're proud of the fact that you are working and you are taking care of your family.
I do have a good work ethic, and I am proud that I work and take care of everybody.
Hmm. And so I heard you say your wife, so I'm assuming that you know, not assuming, but you're married and you have one child at home still. Do you have other children?
Yeah, we got 4 kids total. Two are from another marriage of hers, but they're my kids, and they're both college graduates, and they live in Columbus.
Hmm.
Oldest boy, he's about 32. He's about to get married to one of them with 2 kids, and they had a kid too, all boys, all my grandsons. Uh, he graduated from Ohio State. He works as a computer engineer. He goes to different companies, and well, he has a team now that goes out to different companies and helps people with their computer problems. He's like a foreman or something.
Hmm.
Um, my oldest daughter, she's about 30. She's really very beautiful. She works at Nationwide Insurance. She also graduated from Ohio State. Um, and she's always doing stuff for like good causes.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's half um, Syrian, so she speaks Arabic
Oh, wow.
fluently, and she mentors a refugee family
Mm-hmm.
that's over here to help them get acclimated to the United States.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, I haven't met the mother and the father, but she brings like this cute little girl around sometimes that don't speak English too good, but she can play video games like you've never seen. And yeah, it bothers me when I see people online like get racist about Muslims or about or about uh, Hispanic people coming up through the border. It just it breaks my heart because I know everybody has love and loves their family and cares about their family and their kids and stuff. And I just don't understand some people looking at other people as if they're less than human. I mean, if they could just see this little girl, I think they would change their mind. You know?
So what I hear is I hear you being very happy and proud of about your family. Your face really lit up when you started talking about your kids, and then
Yeah.
the other things you're describing about like talking about how racism is in this country. It kind of brought you down a little bit. But that seems frustrating as well.
Yeah.
That people just don't understand, these are all people. And I agree with you. Everybody has a right to be happy. Everybody has a right to be respected and live. And you're trying, your daughter is directly helping with that.
Yeah, I'm so proud
And
of
you're
her.
very proud of her for that. Yes. You've seen, and I think a lot of that is because you raised a good, you probably had a big influence in how you raised your children. And
Thank
that's
you.
something to be proud of as well. And I feel that from you, that you're very proud of the good job you've done with them.
Um, I didn't even talk about my other two kids.
Well, tell
uh,
me about the other two.
I got a 22-year-old daughter. Well, she just graduated, but she's don't have a degree yet because she's got to do an internship.
Mm-hmm.
So she's doing an internship during the day, and she's working at night at a shoe store.
Mm-hmm.
And like 3 or 4 days a week, our grandson, her son's over here. He's like 3, and we love having him. I mean, there's some stuff we can't do when he's here, though. But she has this big, like, pit bull.
Mm-hmm.
She was leaving this dog, like, locked up for 14 hours a day. I'm like, oh, no, I can't have that. So I'll go into her house and get this dog. She lives about 7 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
And drive it here, and we got a fenced-in backyard, and I'll just let her loose out back.
So that's your other grandchild, is the dog.
What's that?
So the dog is another grandchild.
Yeah. So I let her run, and it takes a lot of time to do that, but I'll do it for her because she's got to get her degree. And our philosophy in this family is usually the kids come first,
Mm-hmm.
and especially with my youngest son, who's about to turn 17.
Mm-hmm.
He has severe autism. He's nonverbal. He's not potty trained, but I mean he's a good kid. He has a way of communicating, and he's helpful around the house when he can be.
Mhm.
And we're just doing what we can to make sure he lives
And I
a
hear a lot of pride out of that, out of all the things you say about your family.
yeah.
That you, it seems to me, you have a very close knit family.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
That's good. I like that. I like families. Um, okay, there we go. So I'm going to close the session out for today. I would like to invite you to speak with me again if you feel comfortable. Um, so again, I'm just going to give a little paraphrase. So what I'm hearing from you is that at this stage in your life, you're kind of questioning how you deal with conflict.
How I deal with what?
Conflict.
Yeah.
And although you do have a good response to it, like you said, using your maturity and patience that you've learned over time, you're not so quick tempered as you might have been when you were younger. But
Yeah,
you're
that's true.
again questioning that if you had to get angry or be physical, you're kind of questioning that, would that be able to happen? And I think, it probably, from what you're telling me, I really think you're still a force to be reckoned with. So, but I understand how you're saying. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I guess we can set an appointment again for next week if you want. No pressure, of course. So, but thank you for coming. And again, like I said, I'm a student, so I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be of some help to you and as well as to practice all my skills. Um, so I guess I'll see you next week then. So, okay, I'm going to stop this now and then we can still continue to talk a little bit.